3 days on and another jaw-dropping look at Sunday's spectacular operation. Plane after Russian plane hunted down by a swarm of Ukrainian drones. Some destroyed, others possibly beyond repair. A glance under the wing, cruise missiles ready for launch. And confirmation that Russia's dwindling fleet of prized early warning and control aircraft were among the targets, clearly struck, but the extent of the damage not immediately clear. And then the containers used to transport the drones to airfields deep inside Russia, looking for all the world like mobile homes. Retractable roofs visible, Ukraine offering carefully calculated glimpses of its work. And rewarding those who carried it out. President Zelensky handing medals to officers whose identities, for obvious reasons, are not revealed, saying Operation Spider's Web could have been avoided.
Припинення вогню могло би бути до операції, яку ми зробили.
A ceasefire could have happened before the operation, right? Would the operation have taken place in that case? No, but it doesn't mean we do nothing in the meantime.
But the Russian leader seems in no mood to budge, clearly incensed by recent events.
They're asking for a ceasefire for 30 or 60 days. They're asking for a summit. But how can we have such meetings in these conditions? What is there to talk about? How can we negotiate with terrorists? Why should we encourage them by giving them a pause in fighting?
None of this bodes well for Donald Trump's efforts to end this war, speaking to Mr. Putin for the first time since Sunday's attacks and sounding a starkly pessimistic note. It was a good conversation, the president wrote on social media, but not a conversation that will lead to immediate peace. President Putin did say, and very strongly, that he will have to respond to the recent attack on the airfields. For all the sound and fury of this week, there is still a diplomatic process. In a few days' time, we should see the largest prisoner swap of the war so far. But as for a ceasefire, well, that remains a very elusive prospect. Paul Adams, BBC News, Kyiv.
And let's get the latest from Washington and our correspondent there, Gary O'Donoghue. Gary, President Trump not sounding as optimistic tonight as he did just a week or two ago.
Yeah, Jane, a markedly different tone, I think, in terms of this conversation. A shorter conversation, and also one where he admits that really peace isn't anywhere near around the corner. We do know, of course, that he's been trying to enforce this ceasefire, this 30-day pause, but there doesn't seem to be any appetite for that. Also, we're seeing tonight that Volodymyr Zelensky is intervening in this discussion as well. He's not directing his comments immediately at Donald Trump, but I think it's clear where he's talking. He's saying that Vladimir Putin is giving the middle finger, in his words, to those who hesitate to increase pressure on Russia. And he's also saying that the powerful, if they don't stop Vladimir Putin, then they share the responsibility. Now, we know that Donald Trump, because he said so, has a red line in his head beyond which he will walk away from this. He hasn't said precisely where that is, but I think the sense tonight is that we're getting ever closer to it. And if that comes along with the end of military and financial aid to Ukraine, that could be incredibly serious for them continuing the war.
Gary, thank you. Gary O'Donoghue there.